Right, so the co-main event, Zhilei Zhang versus Joseph Parker. I love this fight. I think it's better than the main event. I think it's a great, fantastic 50-50 fight, which is what we need. These 50-50 fights between heavyweights, especially these top 5 guys all fighting each other, having a good lineage in the division. Now, who do I think is going to win this fight? I personally think Joe Parker's going to win, either by late stoppage or a decision, mainly based on a couple of different factors. First of all, his 12-round experience. Zhang has gone 12 rounds once and gassed out against Filip Hrgović, which is a fight he still won, arguably. That was on one of Filip Hrgovic's worst nights. Zhang looked alright, but gassed out in the later half of the fight. Whereas Joe Parker has done 12 rounds multiple times, most recently against Deontay Wilder, twice against Derek Chisora, one against Junior Farr, lost a decision to Dillian Whyte and Anthony Joshua, 12-round decision. He went 12 rounds against Hughie Fury, 12 rounds against Andy Ruiz. So he's a good 12-round fighter. And even in the Joe Joyce fight, the first one, which is booked to go 12 rounds, he went out more of a pace than he usually does, Zhilei Zhang, and then he started to slow down later as we crossed over into that 6th, round, before he got the stoppage in that fight. And you may ask, well, Joe Parker gassed out against Joe Joyce as well and then got finished in the 11th. I would agree, but I would think he's made the right adjustments. He's done it before. Zhang isn't going to quite put that pace and pressure on as much as Joe Joyce does. Of course, he imposes his will on you, but not like Joe Joyce. That is Joe Joyce's whole style, was the brute force, come forward, just eat everything you've got and wear you down. Zhilei Zhang is a lot different. Zhilei Zhang will try to set you up with punches. He is a one-punch knockout artist, whereas Joe Joyce isn't quite that style of fighter. What's his path to victory? I think he has to use the whole ring. He's got faster feet than Zhang. Zhang's got relatively slow feet. Parker's got fairly impressive feet for the heavyweight division. He's no Muhammad Ali. He's not even on the level of like an Evander Holyfield. Or a Usyk. He's fine. He's got good feet. They're quicker than Zhang's. Hand speed, I would have to lean Joe Parker just slightly. Zhang's got quite quick hands, but Parker's very quick. Power, I'll go Zhang, 100%. Joe Parker's got power, but they all do. And there's a trend of him when he goes up against these elite fighters, he does tend to go to decisions. Wilder, 12 rounds. Derek Chisora, who isn't an elite fighter, but has been in there for a lot of elite fighters, 12 rounds. Dillian Whyte, not an elite fighter, but has been in there for elite fighters and is fringe, kind of. 12 rounds. Anthony Joshua, 12 rounds. Hughie Fury, who was another fringe guy, 12 rounds. Andy Ruiz, who at the time was a fringe guy, 12 rounds. So he tends to go the distance of these higher levels of opposition, which he has fought a lot of, by the way. Whereas Zhilei Zhang, in my opinion, tends to slow in the late half of fights. And while I'm sure he's improved on that, I believe he's coming in at 181 pounds, which kind of shocked me. I thought he'd be a little bit smaller, but he's clearly coming into, well, as he would say, bang. I think Joe Parker's going to use the whole ring. I think he's going to be jabbing to the body, going high-low with it. I think in the later half of the fight, he's going to start to set his feet a bit more and start throwing that left hook. Now the left hook is a dangerous punch for him to throw, but I believe there's a lot of openings in Zhang. Like when Zhang throws his straight left, which he throws really well, is one of his better punches. I would argue it is his best punch. They got his best win on his resume in the first Joe Joyce fight. He was just able to set up that straight left using the outside position of the foot that you have as a southpaw. And, busted up the eye of Joe Joyce and even got the knockout with it in the basically set up the knockout in their second fight. He went to the body and up top with the right hook. There's an opening there where he does tend to drop his right hand, which I believe if Joe Parker, develops a bit of confidence later on in the fight, he can slip to the inside, which usually wouldn't be recommended, right? You shouldn't slip on the inside, but it's a high risk, high reward. He can slip on the inside, and where Zhang's right hand isn't usually up when he throws that punch, It's going to be a very awkward angle for him if he was to counterpunch for that high risk scenario to happen. It's highly unlikely. I believe Joe Parker will be able to slip on the inside and land that left hook, and that left hook's going to become very key in the midway to the later half of this fight. Now, of course, I could see Zhang getting to him early. Maybe if Joe Parker comes in the game plan. If he comes in the game plan, he did against Wilder, which is bully him. He loses his fight, but I don't think he will. He's with Andy Lee, and a really good trainer. Exceptional game plans like the Deontay Wilder fight. And I believe he's hit his stride, and I believe he's going to start to put together some really good wins now. Yeah, so I believe that's his game plan. He's going to, for the first 6, he's going to be moving a lot, using those quicker feet. Zhang hasn't got as quick feet. He's going to find it very hard to cut the ring off. I don't believe he's going to be able to cut the ring off against a quicker man on the feet, that is. I believe he's going to be able to, he's going to be able to move around. He's going to be going high-low variation, using the whole ring, high-low, head-body, body-head, jab to the body is going to be key. Later half of the fight, he's going to find a way to set up that left hand, that left hook. Joe Parker is, while Zhang is trying to set up his left hand. Another thing, though, that could actually be in factor of Zhang that just popped into my head, I think Joe Joyce hasn't fought many southpaws. The last southpaw he did fight was back in 2016. But with that being said, I don't think that'll be a problem, because I found, by being in the boxing gym myself a lot, for a very long time now, and being around fighters, watching fights, fighters tend to be very comfortable moving to their left more. That's the position you've got to move to as a southpaw. So with him heavily moving a lot and him having the quicker feet, I really don't think that Zhang being a southpaw is going to be the issue, especially if he starts implementing what I said he could do later on in the fight, slip to the left and setting up that left hook. I really don't think it's going to be an issue for Joe Parker. I think he's going to be quite comfortable, in all honesty, just moving to his left, because I've seen that a lot of fighters are more comfortable moving to their left than they are to their to the right. I don't know why. It's just a thing I picked up on over the years. And in a fight where one guy has a quicker feet, one guy has a slower feet, I don't think it'll be a problem. I don't think Zhang's footwork is anything special at all. I don't even think Parker's is anything special. I just think it's better. So yeah, that's my prediction. Joe Parker by either 12-round stoppage or not 12-round stoppage, late stoppage or a decision. Thank you. Goodbye. Like and subscribe.